Hi, I am in my basement. So, my life cycle moments, I suppose I have a few um, that happened kind of later in life, but the one I want to talk about is my grandmother. Her name was Nancy Dirks, probably one of the nicest people I've ever known. Um, I was adopted into a non native family, and I grew up um, with my grandmother. She was sort of um, my guidance and my conscience, and I suppose my love of serving others came from her because there wasn't anything that she wouldn't do for anybody. She had a great sense of humor. I think I got my sense of humor from her, um, and so uh, suffice it to say that I loved her very much, and she was one of the most important people in my life growing up. Um, After high school, I joined the army, went away, and when I came home, uh, Grandma was a lot more frail than she was when I left. I was gone for about 12 years. Um, but I go to her house almost every day. I'd do her grocery shopping. I would just go and visit with her and sit and spend time with her, hang out with her. And I never saw that as a chore or just as something I was supposed to do. I did it because I loved her and I did it because I enjoyed it. Um, and I just admired her so much. So as time went on, she um, became hard to take care of. My own mother, who lived with her, was also in poor health, and so because I was working, I couldn't be there all day to take care of her. Um, so she had to go to a nursing home, and it was one of the saddest days of my life. And I knew that it was kind of the beginning of the end. Um, I remember one day I went to visit her, and um, I had to leave. It was getting late, and so um, I got up to leave, and the sight of her walking down the hall all by herself with her walker to her room was just too much for me to take. So I quit my job. I enrolled in a certified nursing assistant program, and in a very short time, I became a certified nursing assistant, and I applied at that nursing home, and I got a job. So I was there at least 40 hours a week. I could be there during the day to take care of my grandmother, or at least be around her. And the nursing home was such, the staffing was a horrible situation. So I was working like 60 hours a week a lot of times, sometimes 80 hours a week. So it's almost like I was living there. I'd get off work and I'd go home, sleep for 6.5 hours, get up, take a shower, come back to work. And I did that for a long time. Um, and then one day, her health started going downhill even further, and it happened so fast. Um, and my grandmother wasn't just the matriarch for me; she was for our whole family, and it brought my older siblings together. And my sister, who lived in Missouri, she came, and I remember the day she died. I was working at the nursing home, and I was going in and spending as much time with her as I could. And I remember one of the last things that she said was she looked at the foot of the bed. She She looked at the foot of the bed and she said, "They're waiting for me." And I said, "Who?" She said, "I don't know who they are. 4 men in black suits are waiting for me." And I said, I looked, there was nobody there. There was a pull curtain at the foot of her bed. So she was seeing something that I couldn't see. And then she closed her eyes and she started convulsing a little bit. And I knew this was it. And so I picked her up and I held her in my arms, and I held her until she stopped moving. And the nurse came. Pronounced her, and that was that. But I knew right then, my life was going to change. The dynamics of my whole family kind of changed. My siblings kind of went their separate ways, and my mother died shortly after that. My father and my brother had died just a couple months before that. And so that kind of left me on my own, which is fine. I've since gotten married and started my own family, but I never felt so alone in my life as I did that day. I think about that as a teacher. I can empathize with families who have lost the backbone of their families. And I think it makes me a better person, personally and professionally. Sorry, that was tough.